Have you ever started playing EVE Online and just been confused as all heck? Not just about the entire game, but perhaps specifically about how and what you should be training. Well, be confused no more, because today I am going to give you the answers you've been looking for. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my pride and joy. I have handcrafted a PvE skill path plan that I believe is objectively the correct choice for you. That is, new players getting involved in EVE Online. I've come up with these lists after spending a lot of time at playing as a new bro alpha character over on my twitch.tv, link in the description below, and for all of the new player path videos here on the channel itself. So I come from now a position of a little bit of authority. I know all of the kind of different activities, what you are going to be looking for, what you are going to be needing. And so I think I am now in a position to actually say, yes, this is the correct thing to do. So let's go ahead and jump into the game. We'll talk about how to get the plans, what they entail, and kind of everything about them. So here we are in EVE Online. And first and foremost, we got to get these skill plans. If you don't know what skill plans are, they're basically links in the game that let you copy a set list of skills that tell you what to train. No problem, easy peasy. So what we're going to do is go to our chat window, and we're going to click this plus to open chat window, and then we're going to go to the channel name of nth plus one. You go ahead and click join, and that will bring up my chat channel. There's a message of the day here, and right up at top it says new player skill plans. That's what we're looking for. And even on top of that, we have PvE. If you're curious about PvP, there is going to be another video, which is probably maybe already out, about PvP. So go check that out as well. But basically the same concepts will apply on how to do it. It's just the PvP will teach you different things, slightly different things. They are pretty interchangeable than the PvE. So if you want to do both, definitely you could do both. But here we have the first million. So let's talk about your first million SP. If you don't know, if you use a recruitment link, you get 1 million free SP. If you don't know what a recruitment link is, you could watch my video about it, or you could just click on my recruitment link down in the description below. But the long short of it is that you can click the link and basically say that I have recruited you as a friend. You get 1 million free SP. I technically get a little bit of a kickback of like SP injecting drug stuff. But the main thing, the best thing is that 1 million SP. So definitely get it. You don't have to give it to me. Just do, if you have a friend that is playing, use their recruitment link if you want. It's all good. But then you have 1 million SP, which I believe you should immediately use. Some people would disagree with me, but again, because I have this experience now, I believe you are going to get more out of your, we'll call it EVE career. If you immediately spend your SP, you'll make up the difference. And what should you spend it on? Well, I think you should spend it on this skill plan. You click the link, and then you have a big list of skills here. A lot of them will have check marks, and some of them will have little omega symbols if you're an alpha. And these plans are both for omegas and alphas, but a lot of it is kind of with a, no, they're good for both. I'm just going to say that they're good for both. So you might have omegas, and you might have these red book icons. And this means we don't have this skill. A lot of skills in EVE you have to purchase. You can remote purchase them or purchase them from like a market. A lot of times it's not worth going to the market because they are already so cheap. And then a few selection of books you have to go to the market for, but we're not going to worry too much about that. Even though for the Omega Path, there are those books. So I don't know. You'll figure it out when you figure it out. So any of these red books. Oh, I also need to say CCP is dumb and stupid, and they make this difficult. So if you're an alpha player, first you can't apply the skill plan normally because there's omega skills on it, and it throws a fit. You also can't apply the skill plan if you have any missing books. And I am aware that you are a new player and maybe you don't have all of the ISK in the world. so you can't actually remote inject all of these books immediately. But what you're going to do is for any spare ISK that you have, you're going to go down the list in order and you're going to buy and inject these books. So like this one's a million ISK, not a big deal at all. But some of them do start to get expensive when we get further down the path. And so like you might want to like gather up some ISKs before you purchase that. So we're just going to go ahead and hit buy and inject. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this hamburger menu. And this is the little workaround we got. We're going to click it and copy all skills to clipboard. And after that, we can go up in the top left, our skills window, and we can bring up our skill catalog. And then don't mind me, I just need to delete these. You see nothing here. What we do now is you have no skills in your training queue, or maybe you do have skills in your training queue. It's totally fine. You're going to go ahead and go to this hamburger menu on the right-hand side. And now you're going to add skills listed in clipboard to the end of queue, or replace if you have skills. You know, you do you. But we're going to now add all those skills that we copied with the caveats that we will get a pop-up when it's all done. And it will say, these skills have already been trained, so no problems there. And I don't know if I forgot to say, but like you start the game with a lot of skills already trained because it's an older game. So even if you're a brand new character, you're going to have some of these skills already trained. It's totally fine. They just need to be in the skill plan because that's how skill plans work. And then we will have could not be added to the training queue because either the skill is not injected or it requires Omega. Both are totally fine. We can close that. And then we can start training these skills in the first million. You could train them naturally if you just hit resume training, assuming that you are not an alpha with over 5 million, which this character is, but don't worry about that. Or what I suggest is using that million skill points. So you'd hit this plus, apply skill points, and it would say you're about to use 1,000,000 skill points to train the following however many skills. The first million skill path plan doesn't actually use 1,000,000 skill points. So you could save your remaining unallocated skills for maybe you want to be a little bit weird and train some offhand thing quickly because it is useful to keep some amount of unallocated skill points just in the bank because you never know when you need that one really weird thing and you just want to immediately get it. That's totally fine. Alternatively, you could just go right to the next path and dump the rest of your skill points into the first things on that path. That's also totally fine. You choose you. So now we've trained the first path, and I guess I should talk about what we're training. What are we training? Galente. And then Caldari. And then the Gila. So through our experience, we really like drones and missiles for PvE. And then Gila because it's the best ship in the game for definitely alphas, but also just like the Gila is an incredible monster in PvE that can take on so much content. Just do it the best. If you don't know what the Gila is, the Hyla, the Gila, it is, we'll show it. So if we go to our ship tree, it is a Garista's cruiser. And basically it has bonuses to drones, missiles, and it is a shield ship that takes skills from Galente and Caldari. So we are going to be focusing first on Galente and drones. So we're going to be doing things like the Algos for their drone little destroyer. And then we're going to move up into like the VNI or the Vexor, things like that. And then we're going to hop the fence. That will cover our armor ships and drone ships. So if you have a PvE activity that needs drones or armor, you're good to go there. And then we hop on over to the Caldari side. And then we train up missiles, light missiles. So you're covered on like destroyers, frigates, and then rapid light missiles in your cruisers. So like the idea of this skill plan is that you have the largest options available to you with using the least amount of skill points, and you're never like damage locked, particularly, or like armor or shield locked. You have a lot of options, and it all kind of synergizes really well. I've done a lot of thought about what you should be training, and I definitely think this is the correct path for you. Also, I didn't mention, but even if you started as Amar or if you started as Minmatar, that doesn't really matter. You can train any and all of the Empire's skills. You're not locked to your Empire if you thought that you were, you're not. You can just train any and all skills in the game, no matter what you start as. And so that is kind of what this skill plan works towards. So after you train your first million, you just go on into the PvE 2 plan. This is where you're going to be starting to get your V and I upgrades, and you just do the same thing, rinse and repeat. After you've trained that, you can train the Oni/Gila. This is where you're going to be getting your shields and your missiles. And then lastly, you can do their finishing touches. The finishing touches is going to be also, all of these skill plans are cumulative. So basically, if you wanted to just start on the number 4, you could. Just make sure that like when you go through and buy your skill books, you kind of remember to do it, so you're not training things like way down here and forgetting about some skill books that you left way up here, because it is also ordered in like what is most important. So you should be training all of these in order. But then lastly, like the finishing touches, like some of these skills as an alpha take 2 months to train. Caldari and Galente Cruiser 5. So that's why it's on the bottom of the list. But they are also good skills to train, so then you'll have them. And that, I think, is pretty much it. If you're interested in all the different activities that you can do with these PvE ships, might I recommend my playlist where we have the smorgasbord of all of the new player alpha activities that you can do. There's a lot of great options, so choose from one of those. And then if you want to fit ships, let's talk about fitting ships. I have given you your first ship fitting, which is for the SOE Epic Arc. If you don't know about the SOE Epic Arc, I recommend watching my video on it. And then if you don't know about fitting, I recommend watching my video about fitting on PvE fittings. So that will give you a great idea about how you want to be fitting these ships for whatever PvE activity that you choose to do. Let me go ahead and look over the rest of my stuff. We can talk about my supplemental paths. After you've trained all your PvE stuff, you could train some PvP stuff. That's totally good and viable. You can do, you can cross between. They're pretty similar. And then I have miscellaneous paths. If you like to do exploration, I really like exploration. I think maybe you should too. You can check out the fundamental scanning skills. And then I have this general must-haves and general must-haves expanded, not maxed. These are my solutions to what I think the Magic 14 should actually be. And let's talk about the Magic 14 real quick. A little bonus content for you guys. If you're still here watching the video, go ahead and type in bonus content down in the comments below. But the general must-haves expanded are skills that I believe that you should have when you don't know what else you should be training. So these skills go at the very bottom of your list. And then if you ever have something specific that you want to train, you should train that specific thing before these skills. But eventually you should have all of the general must-haves for both the regular and expanded. The regular is like pretty important. So like, don't go too frivolous on whatever you're randomly training. Make sure that you do kind of quickly get the general must-haves. And then the expanded is like kind of far out there. You don't need to worry too much about it, but you still have them. These are kind of like the Magic 14. If you're new, you'll probably hear someone say that you should be training the Magic 14. What they mean by that is that if you don't have anything specific that you are training, then you can train the Magic 14. But you're pretty much always going to get better gains at whatever you're doing if you're training specifically for it. Whereas the Magic 14 is just a set of skills that will benefit all ships to a small degree. Whereas like specific skills is like a small set of ships to a large degree, if that makes sense. The whole PvE plan is about 4 million SP for alphas and about 7 million for omegas, if you're curious. And I think that's all I got for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and close you here. Again, if you want to watch the how to fit a ship, I think it's going to be really helpful for you. And alternatively, down here is whatever YouTube thinks you will like. See you guys next time and fly interestingly.